All right, guys, welcome to the show. James McDonald here again, and we are talking about realities. We're talking about frequencies, realities, dimensions, and what the hell does that mean for you in your life, okay? And well, to keep it simple, it means everything, okay? And why does it mean everything? What do you mean dimensions, realities, frequencies, okay? Well, let's just think about it this way. Have you ever held on to a grudge? Okay, or have you ever had an event in your life where something has happened and it's like stained you? Okay, or maybe you were abused, maybe you were bullied. Okay, or maybe something happened and it's tainted the way that you see the world. Okay, maybe it's relationships, right? Maybe it's again, friendships or something, okay? So, or have you ever, say, thought about the future? You know, you daydream and you think about these multiple possibilities that could happen in your life, okay? Or you play out scenarios in the future and they don't really happen. Or some of them do happen. You know, maybe you have premonitions, right? Okay? So all of those things, they start with, say, frequencies, or say, again, and it's not a physical frequency, it's a subatomic frequency. The frequencies actually go beyond this physical plane. It's literally an unseen frequency. So, and again, humans, we live in the past, right? We can hold things that aren't even ours, say from family, generational baggage, if you want to call it that. You might have your mum's eyes, you might have, your father's skin, or your grandmother's hair, or your grandpa's, say, mannerisms. So we have all of that within us, okay? Time stamped. And then we also have the ability to, say, look into the future, or say to project ourselves into the future and, say, split ourselves in different realities, right? Again, we have multiple, some of you might have multiple personalities, right? You chop and change depending on the situation, or again, you might just, you might have, 0 to 100, right? Some of you might just, at a moment's notice, just shift your entire personality, okay? That's a big topic. Or you have multiple ideas, but they just don't really land, okay? And we won't go into like the whole not landing thing. Maybe we will, but let's just talk about realities and, say, dimensions and what that actually means for you. Well, it basically dictates your life, okay? Whatever reality or, say, dimension that you're operating out of is going to influence the way that you think, influence the way that you see yourself, influence the way that you see the world, okay? Because you're projecting yourself from that, say, dimension onto the world stage, which is your life, okay? You're literally projecting yourself onto the world stage, the physical stage of your life, okay? So, but if you shift, say, your dimension, and it's funny because now that I'm talking about it, and I've kind of known this, but my teacher Masati, he didn't come up with this knowledge. This knowledge has been universal, but he, say, discovered it during a couple of his near deaths, and then really just packaged it really nicely. So I've been working with him alongside, a decade of being in the personal development, human behavior industry, success industry, if you want to call it that, breath work and a lot of other things. But working with Masati for over now 5 years, a little bit over 5 years, and he uses this analogy of dimensions, realities, and I won't go into the third one. I won't go into it, but dimensions and realities. So it's cool. I'm actually like now seeing that, right? And we'll talk about that as well. It's like, well, how do you have this knowledge? How does he have that knowledge? How do the people that have gone through the process start accessing this knowledge, and these abilities? It's like, how does it work? And it works with realities, okay? And there's a third one. I don't want to go there just yet, But it actually involves that. But again, just to keep it simple, you change your reality, right? Or you change your coordinate of self, you change your life, right? You change the way that you see yourself, okay? So you have your stage, which is your life, yeah? And then a dimension is, say, a seat on that stage. Say a seat in the audience, yeah? A seat in the audience, and you see your life from that perspective. But then what happens if you change your seat? If you change your dimension of self? Well, guess what? You see yourself from a different angle. You see your stage of life from a different perspective. Okay, and you get to start seeing things that might have been hidden to you before. And you start to shift, you start to like adjust, because again, you're outside of your, say, original positioning. Instead of looking at the stage head on, you're a little to the side. So you now have a greater awareness, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, don't worry, just hang out, bathe in this talk, because again, I'm generating frequencies as I chat away as well. So just soak it up. You don't need to do anything about it. Just soak it up. So again, so to realities, right? And then realities, right? So we're just talking dimensions here. Realities would be like another, like you would say the chairs are in one plane, so like one dimension, if that makes sense. It's like one plane. It's not just one dimension, but you have like one plane, right? That plane, which is, say, the row or that layer of, say, seats, yeah, would be your dimensions of self. Okay, and then a reality, and we'll just, again, there's going to be nuances to this, but a reality would, say, be the level of, like, the angle, the height, right, of, actually, it would be, from what I'm seeing, it's funny, because Masati uses this exact same analogy, and now I'm just really seeing it as we talk about, because I don't really plan these, guys. I don't really, I write a few notes, and then I just tap into the knowledge. Okay, so it's not like I plan this. I just came off one of the days on the 18 days, the online program that I host. And because I'm in that zone, I'm accessing that information, and questions come up in that program. Now we're here just talking about it, right? Because it's quite beneficial for you guys listening in that may be curious about it. And don't you just love my little cowlick? I'm like alfalfa. Minus the girlfriend. No, kidding. That's pretty funny. I think he's got a girlfriend, or like he gets one. Anyway, so what was I saying? Realities, all right, and seeing it, right? So dimensions is like you're in the same room, right? And then realities, to me, anyway, and I could be wrong. Well, no, to me, I actually see it as an entirely different room. So imagine you're on a boat, okay, a huge boat, and you're in this room, dimensions, and you're observing, say, this world stage, your life, dimensions, and then different dimensions in that room, right? A reality, right? This is like an even bigger shift, right? Is you actually change the room. Right? You change the room. It's a different stage that you're looking at, right? With different levels of seating, looking at it's an entirely different room. Okay? So you have dimensions within that reality, right? The room. Yeah? Right? Dimensions within a reality. And then you get to a certain point where you shift your reality of self and you move rooms. So then you go into, it could be a bigger room, it could be a nicer, grander quality, or it could be worse, right? The other way. Okay, does that make sense? Right, so you've got dimensions and then realities. So dimensions are the seats in the room looking at the world stage, looking at you, projecting onto the world, projecting into the physical. And then you've got a reality which is an entirely different room. right? With different rule sets, different concepts, an entirely different way of, say, creating the stage in front of you. Different lighting, you know, the seats could be nicer, whatever it is, okay? And then, might as well go into it, since we're here. You're on this boat, right? With all of these different rooms, layers of rooms. Well, guess what? After a while, once you move through however many realities, you actually, well, you jump ship. You move ships. Okay? So you jump ship. You move into a different consciousness. Okay? It is a different consciousness. So you move through realities in the room on a boat, and then you change your dimensions, the seats in that room, and then you change your reality, right? Even bigger shifts. And then within that reality, dimensions, seats. And then you change your reality again, reality, and then you get to a point where you're like, wow, I have used and exhausted all of these amazing realities that I've created myself from, right? I've learned from them, I've grown from them, or I've just, let them go, whatever it is. And then you go, well, let's transform my consciousness. So let's jump into an entirely new boat. Okay? In a room, in a seat. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, like the video, comment below, and if you're enjoying this so far, subscribe to the channel because I'll be sharing more of this. Okay, so just taking a breath in as well and just noticing where you are. Again, just noticing the room. Some pretty big concepts here. So, and for some of you, it might not, you might just be like, yeah, that's sweet. So, but again, how does that influence your life, right? And you've heard me talk about this before. If you've been on the channel, you've heard me talk about this before, but it's about ingredients, okay? In each dimension of self, each reality and each consciousness, there's ingredients that you use to create your life with. And it goes beyond the physical doing. Okay, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with love. It has, it does, but it doesn't, it's like, it's not about how much money you make. It's like, oh, go into this consciousness and you make heaps of money. No, it's like you could run serious abuse patterns in the dimension that you're in, or let's say the reality that you're in, or consciousness, and create heaps of wealth. You could create a ton of wealth, but you burden yourself, right? It destroys your family or it destroys your mental state later on. Later on in life, it's like you just get really fucked up mentally. Or your health, you just get really fucked up, okay? Or it could go the other way. You could be poor and still burden yourself. You could be really poor and still burden yourself because, again, the reality dictates that you have to create abuse for yourself. Yeah? And I'm just using abuse because it's just very easy. It's very black and white. It could be the other way around. You could be in a reality of luck. Yeah, of luck. And things just go your way, right? Maybe you're a business owner. Maybe you're not. It doesn't really matter. I'm just using this as an example. Just think about other aspects of your life where things just go your way. I have a friend, she just wins things. Like, she just wins, and it was so good hanging. We were in New York, and this is a while ago. This was before any of this, before I, started diving into any of this. At the very start of, say, my self-discovery journey, like a lot of you, starts when you're a kid, right? You're just learning about yourself. But, anyway, I was in my early 20s. Really, I was like 20, 21, right? So now 10 years, 11 years later. So we were in New York and they have Broadway, right? And at the time, they had a show running, The Book of Mormon. It is hilarious, okay? Super funny. If you haven't saw, oh my God, it's amazing. Anyway, I kind of just ruined the whole punchline. But anyway, so they have a thing called a raffle in New York. They do like a jackpot, like a raffle, and they give out two tickets they give out two really good seats for a discounted price. Anyway, long story short, we entered this raffle, me and a really lovely family friend of mine. And, my sister and my brother-in-law, they were there at the time and they'd already seen the show. So they're like, you got to go. And, we do the raffle. And as we do it, my family friend, she looks at all of us and, we get talking about how she wins things. She's like, guys, like, she looks at me, I'm like, really? Like, you win things? She's like, yeah, James, like, I'm just going to put it out there, like, we've got the tickets. Like, I just know. Like, this is my thing. Like, she wins things. And lo and behold, she won, right? She won 2 tickets and we got to go see this amazing show. So why does that happen for some people? Some people call it luck, and it is luck, okay? But it's literally a formula. It's literally a pattern. It's an ingredient in which you're creating your life with. Okay? A similar thing happened to me the other day. Literally, it was pretty cool actually. I got a free meal, and more meals at this dinner that I was at, a beautiful birthday dinner that I was at. They kind of forgot my order, and I was chill. I mean, I was hungry, but they forgot about my order, so I was waiting for quite a long time. And as a way of saying thanks, they gave me extra food, and then they didn't bill me for one of the meals that I ordered. So, some could say, why did they forget my meal as well? We all ordered basically at the same time. Anyway, who knows? But in that way, it's like, oh, there you go. So those things happen. So again, when you start operating out of that consciousness, right, out of that reality, synchronicities happen. Okay, but to me, they're not synchronicities. It's not like, oh, by chance. It's like, nah. Is it? Maybe. But if those things keep happening, well, you're probably creating it. In fact, you are creating it. Whether you like it or not, you are creating what you're experiencing in the world. Okay, even the dark stuff, the dark stuff, even the sexual abuse, even the bankruptcy, even the health problems, believe it or not, you're creating it. Okay, and you might think, well, fuck, why would I want to create abuse? And you're damn right. Why would you? But that is the power of where you are creating yourself dimensionally. Okay? That is the power. It goes beyond the mind. Right? No one wants to be abused. Okay? But at a very deep level, some people do. Okay? Because it equals, say, love. Really simple one. Abuse equals love. Right? So if you're in a relationship and the guy or the girl, they could be beautiful, really lovely people, but if you are operating from a reality or a consciousness that has that ingredient that says abuse equals love, no matter what loving relationship you're in, you will create abuse for yourself in some way, shape, or form, eventually. Because the formula says, if I'm in order for me to feel love, I have to abuse myself, or I have to abuse others or the environment. That's how powerful it is. You shift your reality and dimension of self, it supersedes psychology, it supersedes your subconscious, it supersedes energetics as well. Okay, This is dimensional healing, right? It's dimensional transformation, or Masati would say transmutation, okay? Because you're literally shifting, it's like you're shifting your dimension of self. And your dimension of self, your reality of self, your consciousness of self influences the quantum mechanics and then your Newtonian mechanics, which is, again, the physical laws of gravity and, Newton's laws of gravity. There's three laws. So it's pretty powerful. And for those that have got this far and you're curious about this and you want to dive deeper into it, you are literally on the forefront of probably the most advanced human technology out there. And that's a pretty big call. And I would say, yeah, that's a pretty big call. But I've experienced it in my own life. Again, Masati, again, a good friend of mine, and a mentor of mine. I've seen it. I've seen what the frequencies and, say, changing your reality can do. So it is one of the most advanced, say, tools in human, say, society as we speak. And not many people are tapping into it. A lot more now, but there could be way more people. Okay, and I know that's a big call, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not any of those things. I've just had quite a bit of experience. But again, again, just looking at my own life, never would have thought that I'd be 31 and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I've actually put on some really healthy weight as of late. I actually weighed myself the other day. I'm quite a lean guy. Like, my family is quite lean. And, my resting kind of body weight in the past was like 70 kilos. I'm 6 foot. And then over the past 5 years, really just naturally got stuck into looking after my health, my exercise, athletic development, movement, jumping, sprinting, running. And I got up to about 74. The last time I checked, I was at like 74 kilos. And internally, I've always felt, and as I've gone through the process, I've always felt like 80 kilos was like a really nice weight for me. Around that 80 kilo mark, 79, kind of 80 kilo. It just felt organic for me, more pure for me. And just yesterday, I jumped on the scale and it said, I was wearing clothes, so minus a kilo or two. And I was 78 kilos and I hadn't been training that much. I was like, whoa, and it could be water weight, you could say that. But so, well, that's pretty cool. Like 78 point something kilos. So, at 31, my memory, man, I used to be pretty forgetful. And ask my family, right? My family knows this. I used to be like pretty airy, pretty out there, and forgetful, and things like that. Now, my memory has totally transformed. Yeah, like totally transformed. Like when I remember things, I really remember them now. So in terms of, again, I play basketball. My basketball, if you call it like basketball IQ, and I'm not a crazy, I don't like spend hours and hours and hours researching things and things like that. But when someone teaches me something, I kind of retain it pretty well. Okay. I never used to be able to remember names very well. Now I can. Yeah. There are some variables in that, because when I've shifted like a dimension of self, that memory that was created in that reality kind of gets lost. So that's a whole nother topic. But in terms of finances, am I a millionaire? I'm not a millionaire. I'm not sure if I'm making six figures. So it's like, well, how can this guy talk about these sorts of things? And it's like, well, I've helped individuals be really successful, financially, you know, I've helped individuals do that. So, um, um, I've worked with a 7-figure, I'm not sure, she's not a billionaire, no, but she's 7 figures, I've helped, again, individuals in that space. I've helped people in the entertainment industry really create more enjoyment in their field so it doesn't burden them, right? And even for myself, I look at my life, left a pretty intense work environment, 9 to 5 environment. And even though I enjoyed it at the time, but after a while I was like, nope, I'm out of there. Now, again, it's taken time, but now, like, my work isn't really work. It's not work. I get to have fun with what I do. I get to do this, in terms of the frequency healing and exponential intelligence. Again, what Masati's packaged up. Is it, obviously Masati's the OG, he's the main man. But again, the frequencies that I've been able to harness within myself and discover, just by working on me, really potent. Really potent. Okay, it's pretty incredible. And never would I have thought that I'd be able to do this. Never. It's like, come on, man. Like, there's no way. There's no way, dude. There's no way. Like, Nasati, he died twice. There's no way. And he'd always say, not always, but I remember just a comment so clearly. He'd say, I'm the normal one, guys. I'm the normal one. 60 odd, transformed his health. And you can just see it. You just have to see a picture of him 15 years ago, 10 years ago versus now. And even with me, you could do that. Like 5 years ago versus now. Totally different. You just see it and you feel it. But yeah, he'd say, I'm the normal one, guys. The norm isn't necessarily normal. These possibilities are open for you. And I didn't really, I didn't chase these abilities. After a while, I did. There was periods in my time where I was like, I really wanted to chase it and really get after it. Which was really good. It propelled me a lot. And then as I've, deepened my process and my understanding, I understand that there's no chasing abilities. Right? Abilities just show up when you're being your best self, when you're in time. Yeah. When you're being your best self, abilities just show up. You could be doing anything. You could be surfing, you could be doing taxes, but you're so into it and so so in time when you do it that you're, again, you're generating those frequencies, one for yourself, but then also for clients or say your family. And that's when you really know it works, is that when you see your environment start to shift as well. So, but that's another topic, guys. If you made it this far, give the video a like, drop a comment if you, if you want to share what things came up for you, if that resonated with you, if that was helpful, and if you really want to continue on following the journey and this education on how you can just simply be a better, a human in a more nourishing way, not in a go smash your goals, go fucking say, no, just in a more nourishing way, a more gentle yet incredibly powerful way, then subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, check out the other videos, and I will see you on the next one. Much love. Peace. Bye.